Well, you are with the Books and Music Review Show. And we're glad you came by. So, what do you want to hear today? First of all, I'm going to give you something a little bit different on the screen than you usually see. I know you usually see the blank chair. But today we're going to do something different. I'm going to show you me walking in front of the camera. Welcome to the Books and Music Review Show. The opinions and views expressed on this program do not reflect those of the management or staff of Staten Island Television. And we're going to give you a little information before we go into the studio. So I prepared this little slideshow for you so you can get to see what the studio looks like. There's the corridor and the little kitchen. And right now we're in studio, ready to tape a show that will last about 29 minutes. And you can see it online eventually, one day. But right now, what I'm going to do is, I'd like to tell you a few facts, because these are really important. We're taping this in winter, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about a few different things. I'll tell you a little bit about the chalk walk, and I'll tell you a little bit about, ta-da, bad pharma. What exactly is bad pharma? The pharmaceutical industry has had to pay out more fines and damages than any other sector, but still, it's just a drop in the ocean. Can you believe that? Yeah. In the last 27 years, and I'm going to speak slowly on this one. In the last 27 years, drug companies have made 412 settlements with the U.S. federal and state governments totaling, you ready for this? $38 billion. That's right, $38 billion. So what's been your experience? Do you have an experience that you'd like to share? I think we're going to step into the studio. Maybe camera 2. There you go. There's camera 2. I'm going to take my little notepad into the studio, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that $38 billion. And the only reason I'm mentioning it is because, you know, everybody's talking about the budget and the money being spent. Check this out. In the same period, Big Pharma has achieved global revenues of $29 trillion. That's trillion. $29 trillion. In that same period that they settled for $38 billion in cases, U.S. federal and state governments, they had 412 settlements, the pharmacy companies. In that same period, they owned $29 trillion. Are you still looking for the rich people? Look no further than your pharmacy. Where am I getting the information from? I've got this from a few different sources, but for now, check this out. You need to get this. Oh, you can't see the title. The title is What Doctors Don't Tell You. It's short, WDDTY, What Doctors Don't Tell You. Did the doctor ever tell you that the pharmacy companies earn $38 trillion? Okay, so here's the dirty dozen, as they call them. The worst offenders in terms of fines and penalties between 91 and 2017 is the GlaxoSmithKline. They settled in penalties over $7.5 billion. 32 settlements. You didn't see that on the front page of the news, did you? The Pfizer company settled over $4.5 billion in 34 number of settlements. Johnson & Johnson, over $2.5 billion in settlements. Teva, Merck & Company, Abbott, Shearplow, Mylan, AstraZeneca, you've seen that on the commercials. 13 settlements with the U.S. and the federal governments, totaling $1.03 billion. That's not million, that's not thousand, that's $1.3 billion in settlements with AstraZeneca. And Amgen, which I never heard of, $901 million. Now, what about the repeat offenders? You know, they got the settlements, they got these things going. The repeat offenders are Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, Novartis, Bristol-Myers Squibb, Teva, Merck & Company, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and 2 others. I'm just reading this from this book called What Don't Doctors Tell You? Doctors can't tell you that stuff because, after all, aren't they the ones that prescribe the medicine? Okay, so the biggest settlements, $3.4 billion in 2006. The violations, C code, that's A. Drugs, not applicable. Let's see, so the code is financial violations. For GlaxoSmith, for $3 billion in 2012, and the code is B, C, D, and E. That's financial. Then there's unlawful promotion. Then there's concealing data. What is data? Is that side effects or is that something else? Concealing data or concealing data? I don't know. You have to read it for yourself. But this isn't the only place you'll see it. There are other places. There is a book called Living Scared by a Staten Island resident, Linda Aloni. And we'll be having a show on that soon. And that's a very, very revealing book about her own experience and her family's experience. Now, the biggest settlements, $785 million. In 2016, it was for E, which is overcharging. So they were overcharging. They were settled for $785 million because they overcharged people. And the drug is Protonix. Other drugs here listed in these settlements are Vioxx, Zyprexa. That's Eli Lilly for $1.41 billion in 2009, Zyprexa. Then there's Johnson & Johnson, good old Johnson & Johnson, Risperdal, Invega, Natracor, $2 billion in settlements. What are we talking about? In the last 27 years, drug companies have had 412 settlements with the United States federal and state governments, totaling $36 billion. In the same period, the big pharmacy companies, Big Pharma, has achieved global revenues of $29 trillion. Do you know any other section of the public that gets $29 trillion? Okay, so that's just one of the articles you'll see in here. It is called What Doctors Don't Tell You. It is the November 2018. This is a very current issue. November 2018 issue. And it's WDDTY, What Doctors Don't Tell You. So, let's go on. What else is in this marvelous magazine? You know, the only reason it's not a book is because it doesn't have a hardcover on it. And it's packed with lots of information. Let's see what else is in here. They talk about testing. They talk about other things. Then there's going with your gut. Charlotte Watts explains the surprising connections between how we move and how well the digestive system works. Then another one, breaking bread for Thanksgiving or Guy Fawkes night. These healthy bread-free breads made from fresh vegetables and seeds make a tasty alternative. Yeah, they tell you to make a fresh cornbread, and there's corn in it, corn flour, and fine yellow cornmeal, and baking powder, and baking soda. And then you put some water in it. Oh, wait a minute. thawed frozen corn, liquid egg whites. I guess if you're allergic, you would leave them out. And there's recipes on how to make bread, sunflower zucchini loaf, cranberry carrot, and lemon bread. I didn't even know they made such a thing as lemon bread. Then there's an article about the Hunger Games, holistic vet. Did you know there are holistic vets for dogs and for pets? Holistic vet Rohini Satish shares her top tips for pets with a lack of appetite. Yes, it tells you what to give your pet if your pet has a lack of appetite. They have something called Nature's Own Stew. And then there's feeding tips for sick pets. Very interesting article. And then there's dentistry's secret weapon. Ozone gas is a potent treatment for rampant dental disease. Celeste McGovern investigates this underutilized weapon, which can even prevent root canals. Says it all in this magazine called What Doctors Won't Tell You. And I've just proven it to you. Doctor didn't tell you that, did you? Did he? Did she? Or he? Okay, and then it goes on and on to talk about other things. The end of root canals. Wow, that'd be a loss of money, wouldn't it? The end of root canals. I had 3 of them. I won't have another. Here you go. In 1999, they talk about randomized controlled trial on the use of guided imagery among cancer patients, and it was published in the British Journal of Cancer. The study of 96 women who'd been recently diagnosed with breast cancer that was large or locally advanced and who were receiving 6 cycles of chemotherapy, half of whom also performed daily visualizations of their immune system destroying the cancer cells. And then down at the bottom of the article, there's a big quote. Patients who used visualization had higher numbers of white blood cells able to inhibit tumor growth and destroy cancer cells. So visualization apparently helps. I'm a big believer in affirmations and things like that. Then they talk about the 7 different kinds of visualization. You have active change, you have clean and polish, you have intervene in a process. Then there's speak to your cells and symbolic change and change in color. Many people like to use color in their visualizations as different colors carry symbolic meanings. For example, blue is a calming color. Green often represents nature and growth. And the example of a woman attempting to heal her kidney disease, she turned wrinkled gray cells into healthy pink ones. And number 7 says an immune boost, which has to do with visualization. And there's a big article in that. Next article, on the right track, Dana Loesch suffered from panic, severe anxiety and panic attacks until she discovered a simple way to overcome her thoughts. She says, I learned that by recognizing that certain thoughts were untrue and not going to happen, I could change my body's response to how I was feeling. Well, that's true. Been there, done that. You have to realize what's true and what's not true. You have to realize, these are my thoughts, what's from the present and what's from the past. And I have to realize, did I change that screen? I might have. Well, anyway, we'll change the screen later. She was no longer crippled with indecision, which she meant she felt confident enough to socialize and put herself in new situations. Take me, for example. I shouldn't be sitting here. No, if you really knew what I thought, I would not be sitting here. But, hey, I am no longer crippled with indecision, which means I feel confident enough to socialize and put myself in new situations. So even though this isn't new, and even though I've been doing television for almost 19 years, every day is a new day. You never know. Every day you have new fears. It all depends on your situation and your surroundings and where you live and who you're bumping into and things like that. And that brings us to, and then there's a whole couple of pages of ads, advertising. Okay, the last article in this book called What Doctors Don't Tell You. You can make it up. There is very little science behind many healthy guidelines. Repeat a lie enough and people start believing it, as Joseph Goebbels. I'm not even going to read the rest of that. Okay, so here it goes. I'll skip over that just because. And I'll go on to say that eat your 5 a day. That's what it says. Eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables every day. In truth, we should be eating more than that, but where did the idea of 5 come from? Apparently, it was conjured up at a meeting of fruit and vegetable companies in California in 1991. And representatives from McDonald's were also there. It seemed like a good way to sell more produce, and there wasn't a lot of scientific evidence to support their recommendation. At least McDonald's didn't influence the group to include 1 Big Mac in the healthy eating guidelines, although Heinz succeeded. Yeah, now in schools they call ketchup is a vegetable. That's what they say. I guess because some ketchup might be made of tomatoes, which are fruits, aren't they? I think that's a fruit. Anyway. Oh, I went off on a tangent all about this magazine, and this is not all I was going to talk about. Let's get somewhere else. I'll have you know, they got Pez dispensers on sale. I bought this for $1. No, not that magazine, somewhere else. But I bought this for $1, and it came with 3 packs. Isn't that cool? Anyway, if you want to know anything about this show or whatever you hear on the show, just let me know. Be glad to tell you. Oh, I got to tell you something good. Check this out. You see that? That says life is good. You know what? Because life is good. You might be sitting there thinking, what's wrong with her? Who's she trying to kid? Well, you know, the truth is life is good. You can have problems and life is still good. Hey, there's not a person around really that wouldn't be sitting there saying, yeah, I'm really glad I'm alive. I know I'm glad I'm alive. So life is good. That's part of the chalk walk. Somebody wrote, life is good. And I think I went and wrote, yes. So anyway, what else do I have to show you for today when I have 12 minutes left? Oh, I forgot all about that. I wonder, did I bring? No, I didn't bring. I wonder if I could get that. Hold on, I'm going to see if I can get something on the computer. Don't go anywhere. You can watch us, meanwhile, all the time on Saturdays. You might not hear me because I'm going to leave the mic right here. And just watch the screen. It'll be like the old-fashioned silent movies with no sound. I'm going to see if I can get something on the screen and then come back. Well, that's not what I was looking to get on the screen. That was to produce through screens. There's a picture of the kitchen again. Actually, I was looking for something else, but I didn't find it. It's there somewhere. Truth is, Oh, let me tell you about Glendora. Glendora's been doing TV way longer than I've been doing it, for sure. She's been doing television since I think she said she was 24 years old, and I did interview her. And we've got a nice video coming from that soon. I'm not sure I can play it now. I did a 1 minute preview. I'm going to see if I could find that on the. Let's see what I got here first before I go to that. Hold on. Oh, I wanted to finish talking about the prescriptions and the drugs. Let me finish talking about this. There's something called Creating a Drug-Free World, and it's the truth about drugs. Check that out. It's the truth about drugs. We're talking about illegal drugs here. Now, I should push this chair over a little bit. I always go the wrong way. There you go. We use the Truth About Drugs education package. This is the best drug program I've ever seen, and that's from a health teacher in Texas who said that. This is just the cover of the folder that brings you the Truth About Drugs. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's inside the folder. There's a DVD, and this is from the Foundation for the Drug-Free World. It's a Truth About Drugs documentary. There's an introduction. They said and they lied. I wonder if I could play that right now. Hold on a second. I do have permission to play this. If this plays on the computer, you will see it on your screen. Hold up a second. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. With the light, something about, I always forget that. I forget that. Uh-oh, that's not playing. Uh-oh. That's not playing. Let's see if I can push that out or push that out of the DVD player and see if it goes in again. It's supposed to play in a computer. But if it doesn't play, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We've got 8 minutes and 33 seconds. It is not ejecting. Maybe because I have a screensaver on here. Let's see. Nope. I have frozen my computer. Okay, I've frozen the computer. Let's see. Can I unfreeze it? Unfreeze it? Nope. The DVD is now inside my computer and it's stuck in there. Okay, so I can read you some things. You can leave that on the screen there. And I can, I'll move out of the way. There you go. I'm going to sit back and read a few. This way? Wait, this way? This way. Okay, this way. Okay. Bringing the truth about drugs to millions. You can watch this DVD for an introduction of the truth about drugs. The preview, it's an award-winning documentary and 16 powerful TV public service messages. In the 20 years of teaching, this is by far the best program I've used, and that's from a health teacher in Texas. Another teacher in California says this program is up to date, hip, and the students respond. A police officer in Canada says, I cannot remember a presentation that kept the students' attention so intently. It is very informative and impacting. So reaching all with a drug-free message. The Truth About Drugs program is the largest and most comprehensive non-governmental drug prevention campaign of its kind. And it's overseen by the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. The program is used by teachers, school counselors, drug education specialists, and law enforcement officers all around the world. And its drug-free message reaches more than, ready for this? 100 million people each year. So each year, 100 million people are getting a good message. Thousands of educators use Truth About Drugs materials to reach kids before the drugs get into the kids' hands. And thousands of drug awareness events are held in more than 180 cities and in over 50 nations. This is nationwide and all over. And every year, millions of drug education booklets are distributed. Get this, in how many languages? 20 languages. So, it's put out by the Foundation for a Drug-Free World. And I did get part of the program, the DVD and the booklet. I did send away for it because I knew that I was going to do a show on this, and this is the show. But I'm going to try this and see if this DVD will play. It's not the DVD's fault. It's probably my computer's fault because my computer's pretty old. My computer's, actually, it's a bar computer. It's someone else's computer, and it's 10 years old. Hold on. We'll try one more time, see if that works. I'm hoping to get this to play. I hear it spinning in there. But I've only got 5 minutes. Will it show the DVD in 5 minutes or 5 minutes of the DVD? There you go. I think it's going to come through on the screen. Oh, there's no mic. I have the mic. Uh-oh. I have to be quiet. Hold on. Let me see if I can make this louder. Okay, I think I did it. Except I don't know where the speaker is on the computer. Oh, I better get out of the way. Oh, press play. Okay, so this DVD is in sections. Here, I guess these are true stories. Just once. How many people have done that? Tried drugs for just once?
They said I wouldn't get hooked after the first hit.
They said he wouldn't get hooked after the first hit. They lied.
Drugs. Drugfreeworld.org.
Uh-oh. Okay, so you have an idea of what the films are like. There's stories. There's a documentary. There is a website.
Make you cool. What's wrong with you? Man, forget you guys.
So basically, you get true stories.
They lie. Find out the truth about drugs. Drugfreeworld.org.
Okay, so there you go. You've got a great DVD with true stories, true experiences. I can tell you a true experience. I am hardcore against drugs. And yes, marijuana is a drug. I've never touched it. I've never actually smoked it or inhaled it or anything like that. And I'm from the flower power generation. Almost all of my kids that I hung out with when I was younger most of them are dead. Some of them died as kids and teenagers, and some of them died, a few of them died when they got older. And if there's any that survive, they're probably in institutions. See, what illegal drugs does for you is it puts you in an institution, it makes you dead, or it kills you, or it has you kill someone else. It makes you completely lose control of your mind. We're going to have to talk about that another time, but I better put something else on the screen. There you go. We are produced through the facilities of Staten Island Community Television. And we hope that you have happy holidays and happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas. And every other holiday known to man, which is a really peaceful, celebratory holiday or a solemn holiday. Whichever one you celebrate, Hanukkah or... I have to be honest, I don't know the names of all the holidays, but I say Merry Christmas. Oh, I think I have to go shut this off. I think time is almost... books.musicreview@gmail.com. And I think... Oh, no. I left the remote. Oh, there it is. Okay. Time's almost up with 23 seconds. And here's where I was just sing, God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her. God bless America and the rest of the world. For real.